Hi everyone, here's a review for the custom Lego figure. This is actually from the Bionicle series, and you can find this at a Lego store, but you can pretty much make this yourself. This is a very simple figure. I'm not saying this is the best Lego figure out there. I have seen some crazy design from Lego store, what people have created, from like Gundam to dinosaur to aliens to warrior, but I think mine is very simple and it kind of looks like a ninja, like a Lego ninja. I really like the color scheme of the black, blue, and green. This is from the blue dude with the green, detail, and all you have to do is just buy two of them. They're very cheap, and you just swap out the different parts to create this figure. The figure is about between 6 to 8 inches tall, depends on how you build it. I made this a little bit shorter for the scale that I prefer. Some people will use a longer stamp for the leg part, and that will add a couple of inches, I mean not inches, sorry, a couple centimeter to the figure. But this is about the same size as a pen, without the unicorn. I know we are Asian, we like small things, so there you go. As you can see, my figure is different than the original Lego Bionicle figure because mine don't have a stick on the butt. It have a waist, a swivel waist, actually 360, and a hip joint. This will give you a very wide range of movement. Sorry about that. It gives you a pretty wide range of movement. You can do a kick, a taekwondo kick, or you can do the famous Iron Man pose with the one fist breaking the ground pose. Now you might wonder, what part did I use from the Lego store to form this body type? The short answer is the torso. I built it myself from different parts. So I know if you look at the Lego online fan base site, they use every single part without modification to form the figure. I know I cheat a little bit, but in result I think it's much better, with more possibility, with a little bit more what do you call it, a little bit more like parts don't fall out when you moved it, so you can play with it better, you can throw it around better without like losing the pieces. So to start off, I have a pelvis joint that I made from the upper torso of the original parts. What I did is I cut out the top from the chest down, and I took the part, the whatever you call this part, and I remove the ball joint on the top, so you got a U shape here. You got U shape here, and you pretty much attach the top shoulder part into here. Find the center point and attach there, and there you have the upper torso. The lower torso is the same joint as the short stamp that form the wrist. The forearm of the figure. And I have a hip joint. Now the hip joint is another custom part. The hip joint is the original, it's from the original hip of the figure, and I pretty much cut out from the part that I cut for the top, I cut out the rest of the stem, and you get the 3 ball. Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention, I take the one with the shorter shoulder piece of the 2 figure. On the original Lego Bionicle figure, there's 2 body shape. One has a slightly longer shoulder, and one has a shorter one. The longer one has the 4 ball joint. There's 2 on each side, and this is the shorter one, which only have one ball at each side. So the rest of the figure are pretty standard. Oh, one more thing is that the fist. I've actually, made this piece. This is not that difficult to make. All it is from the joint that you can buy, or it actually came with the figure already. It's also available on lego.com. It's this joint here. All I did is I cut out the bottom part of it, so you get a more fist look pieces without having the big giant chunk of fist that it came with the original figure. I'm not saying that it looks bad with what they came out with, but in my taste and in my scale, I think it works better for me with this. And you still get that little pig hole to put weapons through it, so you still can hold whatever you want to put it through the figure. And what else? The armor parts are all pretty much something that you can get from Lego store, except for the chest piece. The chest piece I actually built it myself. The back armor piece, this is actually an original piece, except I sand down a couple of inches on the underarm area so that I can fit it better onto the figure. I think this piece works very well for the back armor. The front armor here is actually this exact piece here. It's the short armor piece that you can find on lego.com. Now the top of the chest piece, you might think that it looks like a kind of weird shape. This is the same piece as that, except I cut it in half, and the top half I put it on the upper chest. The bottom rest of the U-shaped piece, I have it fit into the lower upper chest for stealing off the rigidness of and the little gap that came with it, so that it looks a little bit more finished. And the rest is pretty standard, and you can tell from the quality. Well, you might not be able to tell because of my camera quality. I don't know why it didn't shoot that well. It's a 8 megapixel camera, but anyway, you can sort of see it. So also one other thing that I want to mention is that the armor pieces, some people might not prefer the armor pieces to have it full face front. I put it in this orientation for 2 reasons. The main reason is that it gave a much better knee posability, or the knee movement in this orientation, because with the side orientation, this back piece is blocking the knee movement, so this is as far as you can bend the knee. Now if you put this in the orientation that I have, you get a much wider range. You fold it almost in half. So this is the number one thing that this is the number one reason why I put it in this orientation. The second reason is because if you look in the back, most of the figures suffer this problem. You can see all the unwanted parts, or not parts, the unwanted site where you see all the ugly, emptiness through it. So I might, find the pieces to fill out the gap, or I might do something about it. What else? I think that pretty much covered it on this is the same color scheme as the blue dude. So all you have to buy is, if you like my color scheme, buy the blue dude and buy whatever other color scheme. I think you should get the white one because of the head, because I think the blue one came with the green head and the white one came with the blue head. So you can swap the parts yourself, or you can just buy the piece from Lego store and build it yourself. So I will give you a 360 view one more time, and this is pretty much it. I think finally Lego comes out with a body type, or the body parts for people to build a much more sufficient, dynamic body figure. And from the very first Bionicle figure, I think this is the fully complete version, because when it first came out, I saw the commercial, like, ooh, it looks good, and then when I bought the toy, the damn thing only comes with, if you still remember, the arms and the leg. It was a bent piece like this without any joint, and it has a giant chunk of whatever to form the fist. So all you get is this movement here, which I hate it so much that I end up donating the whole thing away. Which, now think about it, it's kind of stupid. I should have kept the parts, and I can have more parts to build whatever I want now. But anyway, long story short, here you go. Here's my custom Lego figure that I don't normally do, but I thought I would just share it with people. I'm not saying I have the best figure out there, but I think this is the most simple form with really good size that you can play with without worrying about parts falling out, or you will lose the piece if you drop it, or God forbid accident happen. But I think this is pretty good figure. So let me know if you have any comment or improvement thing that I can do. I know that the camera is not the best quality, or I have a cold, so it might sound funny, so bear with me on that. But other than that, let me know what you think. Thanks. Have a good one.